tell winemakers and chefs, we will treat you well. Come to our place, you will love it.
We are both wine freaks. We love to eat. He's a little bit more than me.
I think what makes this event exciting is that sometimes you just kind of go with it. You know, things can't make it to the island for one reason or another. You had trouble in customs or whatever, and you have to really be the chef. You know, you can't say, well, I can't do this because it's not this. You really have to just kind of make it happen. And that's what's exciting for me as a chef, and I think some of the other chefs as well.
I'm a professional beggar. Because I do it for free. I am a volunteer. I don't get paid anything. And because I have no economic interest in this event, it is easy for me to say, I'm a volunteer, would you come and do it? You have to learn the art of begging and not be afraid of getting no's. So I perfected the art of begging. I'm a really high-class beggar.
I got to know Joel a little bit and tell him I would be willing to volunteer my time to be the purveyor at no cost. I would get everything here, get logistically ordered. Then I had dinner with Ajit, and next thing I knew, I became the executive chef of the event.
You know, it was kind of a hobby gone wild thing. My parents came out to California in 1973 and started making wine in the basement. They made it in, garbage cans and bathtubs, and my dad's a veterinarian by training, so to do the initial cold soak, he would actually bring the wine down to the veterinary hospital and store it with the dead cats and dogs for 4 or 5 days.
Well, actually, Bouchard, Père has been established back in 1731 in Volnay, which is a small town in the heart of Burgundy, where Mr. Michel Bouchard, the first generation, started up a business of wine negociation. It means that back this time, no one outside the clergy, the church, or the aristocrats were able to have vineyards, to own the vineyards.
Well, my winery is my family, actually, because I'm the 5th generation. But this is not so uncommon in our area, because Piemonte is famous for winemaking. And so in our area, or you are a winemaker, or you are a barrel maker, or you are a restaurant person. I mean, 50% of our economy is based on food and wine.
Oh, there's always lots of wines that are actually challenging. Because even if you know a winemaker, if you know a region, if you know a grape variety, there will always be the next vintage. And every vintage is a new game.
So the pairing will be very challenging because the idea was to have one course which will suit a white wine and a red wine.
Chef Holt is pairing a scallop and a veal cheek with our 2008 Santa Lucia Highland Chardonnay.
But this 2007 is really important for me personally because it's the first wine we made in a new winery that we built in 2007.
I've had it with scallops before and it's been brilliant, so I think that was a perfect pairing.
For the Winemakers Dinner, I want to challenge the wines. I wanted to bring that taste of the sea, which I'm pretty close of. I want a taste of the earth, which I stand of. So what I did was created a portobello stuff with crab and infused it with curry and a hint of the peppers and onions on a base of tomato and basil sauce.
I'm heavily influenced with Asian foods, me being an Indian, so I don't do a lot of Indian touches though, but I do a lot of French Asian influences with the Caribbean food here. The Sugar Mill restaurant that we have, our fine dining restaurant in the Lilicks Bay, that's where all my signature cuisine is.
Well, originally Rosewood Little Licks Bay started and was founded by Lawrence Rockefeller in 1964. It's one of the old grand dams in the Caribbean. And over the last 6 years, we've spent probably around some $35 million on upgrading the facilities.
Well, tonight I'm doing again a very, very clean flavored, very refreshing dish. It's going to be yellowfin tuna with tamarind and chili watermelon with wasabi sprouts for some crunch and spice.
I'm doing a dish, a variant of a dish that I do in the restaurant seasonally with peaches. This is half a peach with a spoonful of fromage blanc, goat cheese essentially, and top roasted, a drizzle of some honey that I smuggled in because contraband.
I did a grilled Caribbean rock lobster cake with a little baby arugula and some lime vinaigrette. They want something local, indicative of what's around them.
The whole dish tonight that we've created, all the ingredients are from the BVI. So it's line caught local red snapper with a homemade pumpkin ravioli, and then we have a tea bush broth. Tea bush is basically a sweeter basil, which the locals make tea out of every morning.
Well, I did a regular brownie, but I put Grand Marnier in it and orange zest, and then sliced them so they're like perfect little squares so they look kind of like fancy posh brownies. And then just for a little extra, I made some milk chocolate ganache and piped WD for Winemakers Dinners on top of each one.
Tonight we are enjoying 2 wines from the estate, 2 wines from the domain. The first one is the Beaune du Château. The Beaune du Château is a wine that we produced since 1907. It's a unique blend of several single vineyards from the village of Beaune. All of them are Premier Cru. All of them are under our control.
What is a Premier Cru? Basically in English it would mean a single vineyard. They are so superior to the other that you don't want to blend with anything else. We have more than 5,000 Premier Crus, so it's a big mess to remember them all, okay?
When you drink all in the world wine sweet, you taste sweetness and fruity maybe, but in the mouth area you taste not only sweet, it is a exposition in your mouth. You have the fruit, you have the minerality, the acid. It's completely other type of the world.
Tonight we are going to pour 2 wines. The first is a big red wine that is called Barbaresco. Barbaresco is made with Nebbiolo grapes and is the queen of Italian wines because it's very much about elegance, complexity, flavors.
On the way back from Peter Island, I was on the phone with Davide trying to get more beef for him, FedExed in for his event, and I looked down and all of a sudden I could see the ground. And, we were on a ferry and crunch. We went crunch and we were up high and dry. For about 2 hours we were all sitting there wondering if we were going to get rescued. But again, next thing I know there was 4 or 5 boats came out and somebody jumped in the water with ropes and pulled us off and pulled us backwards to the dock, and all the chefs and winemakers were wearing these life jackets that looked like they were from the 80s. They were really uncomfortable, and I was wondering, how am I going to swim ashore while I'm on the phone with my knife bag, none of the things I'm going to leave. But yeah, it's definitely an adventure every day.
Guess you didn't know this was the last series of Lost.